Wait, this is driving games?
Oh, yeah, that was the last. That's the last one we recorded.
I was really
Surprise.
worried. But I have some picks. I'm in. Oh, like a Hydro Thunder kind of guy.
We could decide if that was driving, you know?
What? What? What else is it? I'm so confused.
It's a hydroing, obviously.
It's clearly
Okay, actually now I'm
skimming.
Let's change this back to driving games. There's some litigation that needs to happen.
Oh my goodness.
Ryan, Preston, Travis, special gift.
Hello and welcome, travelers of the digital soundscape. This is your host, Brian Keese, and welcome to Draft Punks, where we make lists about, well, whatever we damn well please. I'm here with my fellow courageous co-host, Preston Wilkie. Hi, Preston.
Hello.
I say courageous, Preston, because tonight, in honor of the upcoming Oscars, we are taking on two of the biggest cinephiles I know. First, it is the A24 aficionado, Michael Moran. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Brian. It's great to be here, and I appreciate your high praise, but I don't know that I qualify as that. I was a Marvel normie, and then some friends got me really into movies, so I have been hitting them hard recent years. But I just like movies. I don't know if I'm a cinephile.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we love you here, Michael, in spite of, or maybe because of, your favorite movie of all time being School of Rock. So
Let's freaking go. Hell yeah.
Nice. Oh, I didn't know.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah.
Masterpiece.
Secondly, we are joined by another film fanatic, Zach Ort's first appearance on the show. Welcome, Zach.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I don't know if I'm a film fanatic. I also am an MCU normie, but then I started a movie podcast with my friend so that I could talk to him once a week and get to hang out with him. And then when I did that, I started watching a lot of movies so I wouldn't be a fraud. And yeah, now I watch a lot of movies, I guess. And
So tell us about your show. It's called Stream It, right?
yeah, so Stream It, and we do seasons of the show. So each season is 8 episodes, and each of the seasons will focus on movies that are ostensibly on a specific streaming platform. So we just finished doing Netflix, and our first season is on Disney Plus, and we watch the movie and then we talk about it. And I think being able to limit ourselves to what's on a specific streaming platform gives us a really wide range of movies. So I think like the strength of our show is that we cover a lot of movies that a lot of other people haven't covered. And I guess the only other thing I'd say is from season 3 on, we started structuring the show so that the first half of the show is meant to be listened to before you've seen the movie. So we keep that spoiler free, and you can listen to that and then decide if you want to see the movie or not. And yeah, we'll give a break, and then you can watch the movie and come back and we'll tell you how it ends.
Yeah, which, speaking of, do expect spoilers throughout this episode.
Yeah, don't listen until you've watched every movie from
Every
2022,
movie on
just
this
in
list.
case.
Yeah. But Michael, spoiler alert here, I haven't gotten a new List Wars episode in my feed in quite some time.
Yeah, I both feel loved and attacked by the people that have been texting and calling and email and saying that same thing. And we have a few in the tank, and I just recorded our 2022 movies / Oscar Wars episode on Tuesday, and so that'll probably be the first one I post. We got busy and didn't record many, and now we have a few, and I'll remember to edit and post them.
Excellent. And
But thanks for asking.
yeah, of course. And if people enjoy the format of this show, I can't recommend List Wars enough. Very similar in concept, but a lot of different topics and ideas. I think the most recent one you did publish was the immersive gas station snacks episode. I went back and looked. I think that's the last one on there.
That sounds about right.
But
most of our hosts
very
got
good.
canceled. That's why we've been struggling to find new talent. We'll get back on the air eventually.
I know what that's all about. I mean, that's why I'm stuck here with just Preston at this point. You know?
Who'd have thought?
We're actually recording this one a bit out of order. So because of that, We've randomized the entire draft list for tonight's episode. There is no previous winner because we haven't posted the last episode we recorded just yet. So before we get started, Preston, can you explain to folks how this show works? And then I will reveal the draft order.
So whenever y'all listen to the next episode, you're going to realize that this is twice now that I don't understand how this show works. As far as
Very good. Very
I
good.
don't know what fantasy drafting is, but we draft in a snake order where we have a topic. Let's say 2022 films per se, maybe. We go through the order. You start with 1. Everyone gets a pick down to number 4. Then we go from 4 back to 1 until we've gone 5 times, meaning that the first person gets to start and end our draft.
Right.
Hi, Preston here in post. That was actually wrong.
Which is a big advantage in these drafts. And Zach, who helped us randomize our order tonight, put himself in at top billing. So Zach has the first pick.
Hacks.
I will be going second. Preston is third, and then Michael Moran. The benefit to going fourth is you do get 2 in a row, so you can kind of see how the field is shaping up at that point, and make 2 picks in a row, which can put the other folks on the draft board in shambles. So
Caboose gang, let's go.
I'm excited because I was like, I have to get one of these 2 movies at the top of my list. So having the number 2 pick, I'm very excited. But before we get there, Zach, you are on the clock with the number 1 pick in the draft.
All right. This has to be like the easiest pick probably of the entire night. This was an extremely strong year for
Yes.
movies, in my opinion. I have 74 total films on my list. And of those films, I have 9 that are in the A range. And I have to go down all the way until my 57th film to find a film I didn't like.
Oh, wow.
But all that being said, my number 1 film this year is also my number 9 film of all time. I'm guessing it's most people's number 1 film of the year. And of course, I have to go with the googly-eyed masterpiece, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a movie that is perfectly made for particularly young men of our generation, people who watched The Matrix a million times. This movie would not live without The Matrix, but then it does it in a more diverse shell and has a 2 really strong themes that really spoke to me. One about loving people and being kind and rejecting fighting in a way that sort of does seem to be in conversation with The Matrix. And then a second theme relating to those googly eyes, to really take the time to find joy in your life. And it's a film that really spoke to me and that I just absolutely love to pieces. So I'm sorry to take it off the board, but it's got to go first.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great pick. That's interesting. I had not thought of the Matrix comparison. I do think it's pretty apt though. This was one that I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, but when I watched
Same.
it at home, really wish that I had, because it's just such an experience. And it's everything I wished that another movie we might talk about later from the MCU, because we're all MCU normies here, I think. It's everything I kind of wanted that movie to do and take those risks and didn't. But yeah, I absolutely fell in love with this movie. It was one of the 2, so I appreciate you making my choice a little bit easier now, and not going with something weird like After Sun just to get Smithy's vote.
Oh no, who would do that? I don't even know After Sun.
I would do that. I love Smithy.
I will say quickly, just to expound on, I think like the multiverse stuff in the world that you think not being what the actual world is, that stuff maps pretty easily onto the Matrix. But then there's a specific shot when she is crouching amongst the cubicles of that tax center
Oh,
that
yes.
they lifted directly from the Matrix. And when I saw that in the movie theaters for the first time, I was just like, this movie was made for me. And then when Waymond quotes 9 Days, quotes Story of a Girl to her and says, your clothes never wear as well the next day. Your hair never falls in quite the same way. I was head over heels. I was in forever. So
That's awesome because
yeah.
this is all stuff I didn't even notice. So I'm glad you're telling us about it. Sorry, Michael, didn't mean to cut you off. Your
you're
thoughts
okay.
on this movie because I'm sure you love it as well.
Oh, I did love it. I was just I've listened to the what is it, X-Men fan casting one? I don't know. It's last week, and you talk about this movie and how you loved it so much. I think you had seen it around that time, and
Yeah,
how it was everything you wish Doctor Strange would be.
yeah.
But this would have been my bet for what was gonna go first and be the most popular.
Mhm.
I ranked it 7th of the year. I still really loved it, but my dream draft honestly would have 4 movies above it. I love how weird it is, and I love the Daniels. I hope more people watch Swiss Army Men that love this, or Swiss Army Man rather. I did not connect with it as emotionally as some. Like the most emotional beat for me was when the father is dressed in his suit toward the end, talking about how he would have loved a life just doing laundry and taxes with you. I didn't
bawling.
cry. Okay, yeah. Okay, so there. I didn't cry, and I'm usually a crier, but that one made the tears well. I know some people who were really bawling at the mother-daughter final conversation, which was emotional for me, but I didn't
Still
connect.
yeah.
It didn't chop the right onions for me in that aspect. I find it curious, Zach, that you said it's a movie for young men when I feel like the central relationship is mother-daughter. So I was going to ask what you mean by that and how you pegged it is that. I think it works for everybody and it's very popular, but I was just wondering.
When I realized as I said that I was conveying exactly the wrong message, but I meant specifically for people who had watched The Matrix 50 times.
Gotcha. Which is all young men. You're right.
Mostly young men.
Every young man has what? Yep.
But also,
I feel targeted.
But also young trans people as well from our generation. Like
Gotcha.
The Matrix speaks to a lot of people. I have learned as I have grown up.
Yeah, I think the scene that really got me was definitely the one with the butt plug awards.
Oh, God.
Just great.
That really spoke to
really
you,
teared
huh?
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the best butt plug movie of the year. for
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So with the second pick, Nope. I'm taking Nope.
Sure. Nice.
Jordan Peele's masterpiece for
Nope.
me. I absolutely love this film from start to finish. It just hit every perfect note for me. Daniel Kaluuya is absolutely fantastic. Keke Palmer, wonderful. Like I just absolutely love this movie. The theming in it, all the little Easter eggs, especially when you go back and you see it a second or a third time. The little hints and clues that you can pick up on. I think I'm with Zach that Everything Everywhere All at Once would probably be my number one movie. But these are really like 1A and 1B for me. I'm not going to be able to speak as eloquently about all the themes as you guys, but my one knock on it, I think, is that the scariest moment of the film for me ends up being a fake out.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes, dude. Yes. The barn scene,
genius,
is that
kind
where the barn
the
scene, right?
scene in the barn
Yes.
with the children. Yes.
So fantastic.
By far the scariest moment of the movie, and then
I think that scene in the car is scarier.
Oh, see that one, I think for me, and here again, spoiler alerts for all these movies. Once I realized Jean Jacket is the creature, like the whole
Mhm.
thing is the creature, it became less scary to me somehow
Agreed.
because it's
Yeah.
so big, it's tougher
Yeah.
for it to like hide and sneak up on you. I would say I think that scene is like freakier along with the scene at the ranch. That's right up there with me for like Annihilation with the screaming bear.
Oh.
When it's
One of the
just
most-
like eating the people on the ranch is just like the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in a movie theater.
Mm.
The amount that whenever it finally hovers over the house and just dumps the blood, and it's just one of
Yeah.
the most like cinematically just satisfying things to watch, even though it's so grotesque. it's like it's beautiful. It is so well done.
Nope. And all the stuff with the chimp, obviously, fantastic.
Oh wow. Where does it
I-
rank on your Peel movies?
What do we have? We got Get Out.
And
What's
Us.
and Us. Phew. I think it's. This is such a cop out, but I feel like it's tied with Get Out for me, and then I have
Okay.
Us just slightly behind. But I love all three of them. It's very tight. So they're all. If Holden was on here, I'd tell him they're all mid-90s fastballs for me. So.
And how did you feel about mid-90s?
Haven't seen that one yet. Did it come out this year? Can I add it to my list?
No, sorry.
Zach
Preston.
has 74 on his list. I have 13. So.
Wow.
It turns out having a child severely hampers
It
your
really
ability to
hinders
get out to
the-
the movie theater.
I hear that.
But
I think
Oh,
this
go
is a
ahead.
great pick.
thank
I
you.
have this 10th. This is my highest B plus, but I haven't gotten to rewatch it is the thing. And
Mm,
it really
That's what I want
Um,
to as well.
the only knocks I had against it was I was expecting it to tie the storylines together in a way that it didn't end up doing. But I think on a rewatch I wouldn't have that expectation.
right.
Like I was expecting there to be
So-
storyline.
Yeah,
rather
so
than
I'll
thematic.
speak to that. Yeah, I've read a lot about this movie because I loved it so much. Because at first I was like, well, what's the connection? And I'm forgetting the monkey's name now, or chimp's name. But it was like, what was the point of all that stuff? What was the connection to it? And you realize towards the end of the movie that Daniel Kaluuya's character is not looking at Jean Jacket. He realizes like that's the way to negotiate with this thing is when you make eye contact, it's coming for you. And in those flashback scenes where Stephen Yeun's character is a child, and the chimp is attacking everyone except him, he never makes direct eye contact with it. It's only like through the screen of the tablecloth. And so that sort of makes he misinterprets that as like, oh, I have this like ability, I have this power over this thing. Whereas Daniel Kaluuya's character realizes it's more of a compromise, a deal, and that this thing could kill him if it wanted to at any time. So that was a really cool connection that I watched for the second time through.
Yeah, I really want to rewatch this one. Hoyt van Hoytema is the cinematographer on this one, and he just knocks it out of the park, particularly in that third act. It is just I assume you didn't get to see it in theaters, Brian.
No, this one I did go see.
you did get to, yeah.
We got a weekend away. My parents took the baby, and we made a point to go see this film while we were out. So
Ooh, that
yeah,
third
loved
act in theaters was it was so big. It was so expensive.
yeah, absolutely. The race back to the ranch and releasing the balloon, and yeah, fantastic. All right, Preston, you are up, sir. Pick number 3. What do you got?
Oh geez, oh gosh. I forgot that I was coming up next, and I think just to get this out of the way, a little movie that I'm gonna mispronounce, The Banshees of Inisherin.
Inner Sharon?
Inna Sharon, yeah, I
Inna-
think.
Inisherin? Wow, I was off on both. But yes, it was a fantastic movie that just kind of like caught me off guard in a way that another movie will also do that I'll talk about, but it's such a peaceful setting, just I don't know, like disrupted by this like very intimate violence between them. And I know on Stream It, yeah, we're talking about how Colin Farrell struggles with ADHD and how he really saw a lot of himself in his character and how he kind of like fixated on this relationship and these worries about, well, why I have to know instead of ever being able to like let it go and accept and just kind of like understand that is the way that life moves on. And it really did click really well for me in that sense. And then just the I don't know. It's like a very peaceful movie, but at the same
Oddly
time, it's until it's not. And it takes that halfway turn when the violence begins, and it just keeps growing. But it never grows. None of it ever it's all matter of fact violence. It's not necessarily hateful. It's just, this is the way life is now. And if you don't accept it, it's going to continue getting worse. So you have to just accept it and walk away. And it hammers that home in every bit of the setting, the script, the way that like just the final shots are just destruction, mutual destruction. And it's just kind of like well, there we go. And you walk away. And it's like this, it's such an unsatisfying, satisfying ending. And it's this weird tear between two completely different concepts. And I love it so much.
Interesting. Yeah, this is one I did not get to. So one of my favorite hobbies now as a dad is reading the Wikipedia summaries of movies I know I won't get to go see.
Brian.
But I know. I'm sorry. I feel like this one had the biggest disconnect of any movie in maybe the last 5 years between what I expected the plot summary to be and what it actually was. Like, as I was reading that, I was just like, what is happening in this film? You
should take
like
guesses.
It's absolutely wild.
like write a guess before you read it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure that there's going to be like an Irish ghost or something. The band, like, but yeah, it seems like an absolutely wild film. I know Holden absolutely loved this one too. Was this high on your guys' list, Michael and Zach?
This is my number 2.
Oh wow!
Okay,
this is my other A+ of the year.
I'm not going to say I didn't know that was I may have done some research like was suggested, but it also is very high on my list. And I was
calculated.
For sure.
Where is it on yours, Mike?
So,
or is it Michael? Mike or Michael?
It's a mix. Either one works.
Right.
You guys have been, those 3 movies you drafted in the order of my preference of them. But I have it at 22 of 71. And I'm a big fan of this duo. In Bruges is one of my favorite movies of all time. And maybe I don't know why that one connected with me more. I loved this one, thought it looked great. Similar to Nope, I think both of the 2 most prominent actors just give stellar performances. Really the whole ensemble in Banshees. Yeah. And I thought it looked amazing and was hilarious in a very odd way and comforting in an odd way, like you said. But it didn't compel me as some other movies that came out this year.
That's the thing that's not really clear from the Wikipedia, I would guess, Brian, is that this movie is very funny.
Yeah.
It's dark comedy, but it's got a lot of funny moments. And
gotcha.
Mike, where was Nope for you?
So Nope I have at 19, just above Banshees.
But
those are both movies that I thought were really good. Like, I enjoyed watching them and recommended them to people.
Gotcha. So it's a funny movie. It's not just about cutting off.
It's a comedy. Yeah.
It's a dark comedy. I mean, that's the world Martin McDonagh lives in.
Yeah, if you like it, I would highly recommend In Bruges. And I know Holden's the one who recommended that to me, and I adore it.
Okay.
By the way, I have seen 17 that I remember. 17 movies that I know.
I wonder if one of us...
17 and a half. I watched the worst or less interesting half of Barbarian.
I still haven't seen it.
I didn't get to the... So...
I heard great things, though. I'm eager to watch it.
All right, Michael. It sounds like your dream list is still available here,
I'm honestly thrilled that my 1 and 2 are still available for me to snag. So Zach beat me. I did see 71 2022 movies, and I think it was a good year for movies. There's like a giant crop of movies that I really liked and that are really good, but I just said on our podcast we recorded on Tuesday, there wasn't one that like I absolutely adored and was championing, and nothing cracked my top 100 movies list, which I feel like is always a standout benchmark of if I adored something. And then I would like to make my first pick. I'm gonna have to buy a consonant, and that consonant is R. Because RRR, which I just saw last night in a packed theater on an Indian holiday. That's absolutely adored it. I had been waiting all year because there is a dubbed version on Netflix, but I don't want to watch the dub. And this seems like if any movie I'm going to watch this year is going to be in the theater, it should be this one. And I think that hunch paid off tremendously. I truly don't think it's a recency bias. Like there's nothing like it. It was just exceeded my high expectations. We were laughing, crying, cheering, clapping. It's a great movie to hoot and holler during. Just so much bombastic action and genuinely amazing choreography and dance and moving song numbers. But the standout winner is the bromance. I love two best friends, and like the best friend goals in this are just unbelievable. In a similar praise that I talk about Fast and Furious movies where they're insane and bombastic, but I love them for their sincerity. Like Dom Toretto, Vin Diesel's playing those movies like it's Shakespeare. And here, both the main characters, Ram and Bahim, they're just so sincere and passionate. And I could see some people laughing at some of the expressions that Bahim gets when he hears things and like starts to tear up. Like, no, I'm just in with him. I want to hug these characters. And the 3 hours is very well used. They had a plan, and they could have made it half as long, but they take the length to set up reversals and new self-sacrifices every time we get a little extra layer. It just makes it that much more emotional and sets up an even more bombastic action set piece. So, yes, chef's kiss to RRR.
Fantastic movie. I know, Zach, this is high on your list, right?
It is, yeah. It's my number 6, so I've got it at A-. I love this movie to pieces. We did it for the podcast, so I've seen it twice, and it's tough because it's a competitive year. I think it's my favorite score of the year.
Oh, so good! The music was doing so much heavy lifting. Just it was a great theater watch. We were not even like the musical numbers. I'm just saying the backing track with the drums and the wailing is the word that comes to mind, but like the high screams, yeah, so good.
Yeah, I have seen half of this movie. It is very long. It's 3 hours. Zach is very mad at me. I still ranked it very high on my list because I enjoyed that first half so much, though. But I saw it all the way up through the big animal courtyard fight.
That
scene.
shot when the truck turns and he hops out and there's this big ass deer and this. I lost it. I've never said like holy shit or let's go more in a movie theater. It was one of the most. I hate when people talk. Well, I don't hate it, but I feel like I'm normally a quiet one in the theater, and we were just yelling.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and yeah, like you said. It's Holy right now, so great time to go see it in theaters. That's awesome that they have it in there for that.
Yeah, I was so excited, and my friend, my pickleball partner, and I, Brian, you'll appreciate. Said we're gonna learn the Natu dance so we can do it against our other friends when we beat them in pickleball.
Excellent,
Nice.
The sport of kings. All right, you get another pick here, Mike. What's your number 2?
I do. So yeah, my number 1 going into before I saw RRR that I'd been championing all year is the first movie to ask, what if a man was North? And that is The Northman. Robert Eggers. I think his least weird joint, but still so freaking weird in maybe a more conventionally digestible way because there's an action movie in there. I feel bad that I don't know how great the reception was. I heard it didn't get anything at we talked about the Oscars on our pod, and I was like, oh, it really didn't get anything, huh? But it's just like another very good, that RRR and Top Gun, like the 3 magical theater experiences this year. Saw Northman and Top Gun in Dolby, and I feel like the sound really added to that one. The Viking grunts, the primal noise, some more drums. it's just a spectacle. Like I described John Wick as a perfect revenge movie, and I feel like this also qualifies. The final scene, one of the best scenes in the year, with the naked lava fight. Who doesn't want a naked lava
Dude,
fight? Something about
it's so
being
good.
naked around a blade just adds to the sense of tension and danger, and I was all there for it.
Yeah, another great pick. I have this at 13, but I didn't get the experience you had because when I saw it, there was a subwoofer blown in the theater.
Oh no!
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was only when it was loud, but it just meant whenever it was only when it was loud. It was only the whole movie,
Yeah.
but it just meant whenever that happened, I was like, oh man. But the cinematography in this movie is just unimpeachable. So I want to rewatch this one, and hopefully it would move up a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But-
Is this out streaming at this point?
I think
It
it's
is
somewhere,
now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is one I've somehow stayed away from the wiki for, so I feel like
Yeah,
I gotta
it's
hop
on Prime.
while I can.
It's on Prime. I
Okay.
knew I just watched it. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, the Northman. So Michael's got his 1 and 2. We have to break up that top 5 he's got locked down. So, Preston, take your shot, man. What do you have as your second film?
I hate being third. It's so long until I get to go again. And I know I'm going to lose so many. I think I'm going to go with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Oh, dude, Puss in Boots rips. Let's go.
So good. It was so good. Again, this was a Chris Stuckman review is what like sent me over. I saw that it was getting really good reviews, that people were praising it, and it was just like out of nowhere. The sequel to Puss in Boots, a spinoff of Shrek, getting great reviews, blew my mind. It was
Like
just
a
so good.
spin-off of like Shrek 3 or 4.
Right.
Like not even a spin-off of Shrek.
And
Yeah.
so it felt like just this must be one of the most incredible animated movies of all time to like go against the odds. I think that it goes, anyone going into the audience has like a bias against it generally. I don't think, even if you are a fan of Shrek, I don't think you're much of a fan of the spinoff of the third Shrek movie, right? And so,
I mean, if you're going to see it in theaters, you probably
well, I think
Well,
for
maybe you
like
have small
critics or
children.
any, yeah. And so, you know, it was getting good reviews, but I was kind of telling myself, there's no way I'm going to go see this. I'm not going to, I've only seen 16 movies this year. I'm not going to use my 17th on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Worth it.
And so, yeah, I saw the Chris Stuckman, and I just told my wife immediately. I was like, we're going to see this. And we roped her friend in. So us 3 adults went and watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish in a just sea of families. And what I can say, I think one of the highest praises of it, not only is it just a fantastic movie, it's got some of the best animation right alongside Spider-Man. And every person in that theater, like all the kids, everyone was so enamored and enraptured and was gasping when you were going to gas and when you're going to gasp and laughing with the jokes and really like following along with their journey and not getting in any way distracted or but there was still emotion from the audience. It's not like everyone was just sitting there bored. And then so again, my wife and her friend were going along with sort of my push for it and just rolling their eyes and being like, yeah, we kind of want to go to the movies anyways. Fine, we'll go see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And at the end of the movie, my wife turned to me and was just like, if this doesn't get an Oscar, we riot.
Hell yeah.
It's just fun. And the wolf, I guess we're giving spoilers, who is Death, who is chasing him down because he has spit in the face of Death so many times, and it's like a very personal vendetta, is so damn intimidating. And so it's not like it's jump scares or anything, it's intimidation. And it's this like confidence that he exudes in everything from the animation to his lines that just kind of, it makes you scared for Puss in Boots. And this is not a character I give any shits about. even really walking away from this movie, I don't really like, it's not going to linger with me for life. And I'm going to be like, yeah, the next one. But I will always, in that, little capsule of a moment, I will be terrified for Puss in Boots.
I hate to break it to you, but I think you're going to be rioting. I don't think it's going to
Wow.
be a feature.
I'll pitchfork with you. We'll go get those
Yes!
tiki torches you were just talking about.
You brought up
What's your
Seabees.
money on, Zach? Oh.
I think Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is going to win.
Yeah.
It's just been winning everything, which is honestly not a movie that I'm all that fond of.
That it was fine.
So that there's no wish casting here on my part. But I don't think it's
We
going to
riot.
lose.
Gotcha.
Preston, I hope you win, man. I was like, am I really going to find a way to bump up Puss in Boots and take him 4th round? Because I'm red hot on that movie. Recently, there are 10 movies I liked more than it, but Puss in Boots is so good. It had no right to rip that hard.
And it might be
So
because
fun.
of the expectations as well that makes it
Yeah.
really blown out. But
I'm a big Shrek guy too, but like that one blew me. And I feel like the vocal performances, my friends and I went around the horn and talked about who we would nominate and who we would give the award for all the Oscars. And they laughed at me when I said, can I nominate Antonio Banderas for lead actor? It's just a voice performance, but it is like what he summons out of this CGI cat with his voice is amazing.
No, I
Yeah.
think the important thing to remember out of all of this is Michael Moran, big Shrek guy.
Big Shrek guy
Big
for
Shrek
sure,
guy.
man.
With my second pick, I'm also going to be taking a movie that will not win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, and that is Glass Onion, a Knives Out story.
hold on.
Imagine if it did. Don't lose hope.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love the first Knives Out movie, and I think I actually like this one a little bit more after watching it a couple of
Ooh,
times.
hot take.
Yeah, I know that's that. Yeah, I think most people probably like the first one better. I just enjoyed everything about this from the setting to Ed Norton's character just being a complete idiot. The film opening with that great Among Us scene
Oh yeah.
where he's just playing in the bathroom with Natasha Lyonne and Angela Lansbury, like all these people
And?
who play.
Is
Who's
it
the
Kareem
third?
Abdul-Jabbar or something?
Oh, come on. And
Who is it,
Stephen
Zach?
Joshua Sondheim.
Oh,
and his
that's right.
Oh, that was
appearance
That's
from
why
the
Zach
grave.
remembers it. Yes.
Kareem's in there somewhere.
But yeah, especially Angela Lansbury did Murder She Wrote, and Natasha Lyonne now does Poker Face, where she solves mysteries, which just adds another layer to that Among Us game. That's great. Has maybe my favorite joke in any movie this year. My favorite single joke, which is. Have all three of you seen this movie, by the way?
Mhm,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Okay. When Birdie J's assistant is reading the text off of her phone about the factory where they're going to be making her sweatpants.
That was going to be my guess.
And it says, Miss J, I am writing to inform you that the proposed Bangladesh factory is notoriously one of the world's biggest sweatshops. Please advise. And you replied, sounds perfect. Thanks. With a dabbing emoji. Birdie, please tell me you did not think sweatshops are where they make sweatpants.
That is a good joke.
Just brought over the humor from the first movie so well from Chris Evans' KFCSI line in that first one. I just love the humor in these movies. Daniel Craig is just having an absolute ball. You can tell as Benoit Blanc. Like, just give me a new Benoit Blanc movie every year in a new setting.
Oh,
Like,
every month. I could watch one of these every month. Seriously, they're so
Yeah.
easy. I love it.
Yeah, and yeah, Ryan Johnson, I love. Last Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, and just knocks it out of the park every time. I don't know that I've seen anything by him I didn't like. So, Glass Onion is my second pick on my list of very short list of movies that I saw last year.
It's not about size, Brian. It's not about size.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Michael. So yeah, that's off the board. I'm gonna guess based on the reactions when I said I like it better than Knives Out that this was not a top 5 for anyone else.
No, it is for me. It's my number 4.
Oh,
Nice.
ooh, all right,
Yeah.
a little bit of shambles there. All right,
Mhm.
excellent. Okay, well, Zach, the good news is you get the next two. So let us know what your second pick is.
Yeah, so I get to take my number 3 and number 5 here. So this feels pretty great. For my second pick, I'm gonna take this weird, uh, not quite biopic, but the psychological thriller Tar.
Let's go.
I'm a musician by training. I was a music director before I had the job that I have now, and this movie lives so seamlessly in the music world that I just felt like it was so close to home for me that I within the first like 40 to 45 minutes I knew that it was going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. Cate Blanchett gives a performance that is really just stunning to me in every facet of what she does, from her quiet acting to her piano playing to her conducting. And I think on top of that, this movie is having a really difficult conversation about the struggle between power and artistic brilliance and how that intersects with narcissism and how those people abuse their powers. But then it's also having a, in my opinion, pretty well layered conversation about cancel culture, where I think it's pretty in favor of not letting abusers abuse people, but also recognizing that there's nuance around those conversations. And it does it all while being absolutely stunningly shot, including that, I guess I didn't pause and time it, but I think it's like a 3.5 to 4 minute oneer in the classroom where you see her just absolutely take down one of her students, that then culminates in her playing piano at the end of the scene,
really
which
weird.
is just like, I cannot believe they had the guts to do that at the end of the oneer. So I love this movie.
I love a long oneer. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's a
It's
good
so
one.
great.
So, for this kind of movie, I know y'all had recommended it to me in my short list of like panic watches before this draft that I didn't get to any of them, by the way. But
Yeah, of course.
is it still approachable for people that aren't invested in the music world? Or I wouldn't recognize much of anything whenever it came to technical conversations around music.
I think, Preston, actually, this is a movie for young male gamers. If you watch just the last 10 to 15 minutes.
That's
is what I've heard.
I have heard that as well. See, it was
Yeah.
spoiled for me, so why would you watch the rest of it? That's what I heard.
Yeah, that is
Um,
like the biggest piece of discourse I heard around that was just how wild the ending is. But go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I was going to ask Mike. I don't know, Michael, are you a musician by trade? Can you
Well,
speak to that for Preston?
I was nodding my head just by the reception and my, jock ass friends that I know like that enjoyed it, but I did feel validated, and like the 10 years of orchestra I took were suddenly worthwhile when they started talking about all these musical, and specifically orchestra terms. So I can't give a true unbiased answer to that, but I imagine, based on the people I know who enjoyed it, that you can get by and you just say, "Oh yeah, that's music talk," and the core things. Notice Zach like said, the core things being dissected and interrogated here are not like orchestra things.
Right.
I'd say it's world building that enhances it if it's a world you're familiar with, but I would guess it is not going to impede your enjoyment of the film.
I think
It
that's
is a
well said.
little, the movie is a little cold and calculating, so I think that might be difficult for some people to get into.
That's a life I live.
Oh, well then, yeah,
Oh yeah,
you'll be there.
it's a strange watch for sure. It's like, I don't know. slow burn, but I was gripped and continuously curious in a way that it flew by. It was me and one other guy in the middle of the day in the theater, and I was constantly trying to figure out what the movie was about in a fun way, and it made me strangely stressful about new things, and some of which I didn't need to be stressful about. There's a weird psychological element. I saw on Reddit afterwards a couple like hidden things and takes. I noticed one of them in the theater, which is what caused me to get home and Google, and then two other ones that flew right by me where there's just like an extra person in a quick frame standing in the background of our house, and you don't know if that's real or not. And it really opens some questions for the movie.
I've seen a lot of discourse around whether or not there are portions of this movie that are a dream too.
Yeah,
so.
that's valid.
Yeah. So
I think
I said this on Stream It, so if people listen to that show, this will be a repeat. But I had a journey with my relationship to the third act of this movie. When I first saw it, I liked it but didn't love it. And then I read that analysis of like the whole third act might be a dream, and then I liked it a lot less. But then I came around to this idea that has made me love it, which is I think that it's this idea that for someone who's a severe narcissist, if you're viewing the world through their eyes, or they're the ones whose vision you're seeing, they are not reliable narrators. And they become increasingly unreliable narrators as the structures that they have put into their life have started to fall apart around them. And that's how the movie sort of unravels in that third act.
That's a great take. Because like we're kind of indoctrinated into that cult of Lydia Tarr with the opening, how the movie opens. But when you start to see it from an outside perspective, things crumble pretty quickly.
Now, when it comes to prestige films about composers who are abusive to their orchestra, do you guys have this or Whiplash higher on your list?
Oh, I still go Whiplash, but
okay,
I don't know.
I haven't seen Whiplash.
Wow, that's very surprising.
No, I know.
This is so different. This is such a different movie. I'm surprised how much I liked it because I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty honest with if I just like a movie outside of like breaking down accolades of different pieces of the production. And so oftentimes I'll recognize that was like the best performance I've seen in a decade, but I didn't care about anything the movie was about. And I had a feeling that might be this one, but no, Cate Blanchett was probably the best performance of the year, and the movie ruled and was constantly interesting. So I was impressed.
We got the Michael Moran stamp of approval, Zach. So what's your third pick going to be?
Before we go there, where is it on your list, Mike?
I have it at number 9.
Number 9. All right, nice. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take a trip. And we're going to take a trip on the highway to the danger zone.
Let's go.
I cannot believe that I have Top Gun Maverick at number 5 on my list. But I love this movie so much. I think it has one of the best climaxes of a movie I have ever seen. Like, it's like Top Gun Maverick, Matrix, honestly, RRR as well.
That's such a good list.
And it keeps going, and you're excited that it keeps going. Like, you're happy to see more.
And I think Avengers 1 is the other one I'd put up there.
Oh, wow.
On the top of my list.
Interesting.
I think filming aerial scenes so that they are able to bring excitement without you having to think, oh my goodness, they actually were able to take these cameras up into these planes, and having to do this intellectual exercise where you're appreciating what they did. I think that is so difficult to do, but somehow they just absolutely nailed it for this movie. There was not a moment of flying where I was confused where I didn't understand what they were showing us. And I've only seen it once, except for when I watched the woman next to me watching it on a plane. So yeah, I think this movie's great.
So this is my third, I think, on the list of movies I didn't see in theaters that I like just crazy, just regretted so hard after
It
seeing
was
it.
there for like 4 years, man.
I know. And
Can't
it
you
was
still
just,
see it in theaters?
and it was very much just, I was holding out because I'm stubborn, and I just very much knew, just, I don't know. So I was very stubborn about going and watching it. And I finally, visited some friends. They all went to bed. It was like 2 a.m. I was like, you know what? I'm renting it. And so I rented it, watched about a third of it, fell asleep, and then we all watched it together the next day.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And the entire time, like you're saying with the cinematography, I mean, and the sound, you're just sitting there. I was sitting there watching, like, I have to see this in theaters the moment it comes back. Like, as soon as they do a re-release, which
Oh,
they'll
it'll be there.
probably do once a year at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, on Tom
I'm
Cruise
gonna go
Day,
back.
because that's going to be a holiday soon
Yeah.
enough. Because he literally saved cinema.
Well, it's interesting because maybe not to the same degree, but I feel like the expectation around this movie, because it was advertised for so long, it was like known that this was happening for so long before it came out. Like in my mind, it almost had kind of like a Puss in Boots Last Wish vibe around it, where I was like, there's no way this is gonna be good. Like the
Yeah.
original movie is like cheesy action fun. Like it's entertaining for an 80s film, but like, come on, like we're way past due on this. And then just absolutely mind blowing when it finally released. Like everybody I know who saw that movie had a good time. It was just a
that's
very
the thing about it.
unexpected reaction. Yeah.
It's just a good time. Like, there's you don't have to look too far into it if you don't want to, but you can really appreciate the work that went into it. But it's just fun.
Yeah.
What's
I think-
also a little weird is having this and Everything Everywhere All at Once in the same season, where both movies kind of work as metaphors for the careers of their lead actors. Where, like, Tom Cruise, if you're putting what Mike said about him saving cinema, like him coming back and putting that onto this movie of him being like, yeah, I'll show all you kids how to do real stunts. Like literally just happens in the movie. Like they have the scene where they're like, are you afraid that you're ever going to be obsolete? And he's like, no, I'm the best.
No, I think this is a great pick. And I'm kind of surprised it hung around this long.
Oh, I'm shocked. I almost took
Yeah.
it just because I feel like it's got the most cachet with like the general population. I think what you said was really well said, Brian. I think this is the biggest surprise of the year for me, in that in this year, or now a few years, of these Lego sequels that I just don't care about. Like we got, I don't know, Jurassic World and even the new Fantastic Beasts movie. Two worlds I love, and these just very, very disappointing Lego sequels. And I just see Top Gun Maverick is coming out and assume it's another one of those. But I ended up going to see this one 3 times in theaters, and again, some of the best theater experiences I've had in a while. So much fun.
Rub it in.
The highlight experience was I took three women in their 60s and 70s to see it, and they could not stop like jeering and cheering and asking questions and talking about how Tom Cruise looked shirtless, and it was magical.
Oh, that's
what brought all the boomers to the yard. I mean, it worked.
All right. My next pick is one that I think a lot less people saw definitely than Top Gun Maverick. That's for sure. I think that was that the number one film just box office wise of 2022?
Avatar? Did Avatar end up beating
Yeah,
it
I
out?
think
Oh,
Avatar beat it.
true. Yeah, never mind. We don't need to talk about that one.
But it was in the, like, it
someone
did
could
have the
still
most
take it.
insane staying power.
Yeah,
Like,
it did.
It was
So, yeah.
in the top 5 months and months and months, and then it kept popping back up whenever there'd be a slow week.
Yeah. Well, here's one that was not, but I loved it anyway. See How They Run.
Yeah.
Has anyone else seen this? Michael
No.
has.
Yes. Saoirse
No, I
Ronan
don't
is
have
too
this
freaking
one.
cute, man.
Okay. Saoirse Ronan is amazing. I absolutely love Sam Rockwell as well.
Yes, he's the best.
Fantastic in everything he's
What
in.
is this movie?
Yeah, these are two
So
of my
s-
favorites.
So See How They Run, we saw because the trailer actually kind of gave us Knives Out vibes a little bit. But it is a comedy mystery film set in the 1950s, where Sam Rockwell is the grizzled, exhausted detective, and he gets Saoirse Ronan as his new partner, who's like a trainee. And they're investigating a murder at a theater where The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie is being performed. And this is one that I don't want to spoil because the whole point of it is that it's a comedy mystery, and it's very good. It has some really fun and wild twists towards the end of the movie, especially in the third act. I don't know that all of them worked perfectly. Michael, I don't know if you want to add to that, but
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
wherein they bring in Agatha Christie herself as a character at one point. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It gets a
I
little
thought it was
wild.
fun though.
Yeah, absolutely. And the explanation at the end and how it mirrors events from earlier in the movie is really interesting and just kind of a cool take on a murder mystery. So,
Question:
but yeah, just great performances. Yeah.
Did they have a marketing budget?
They did, because I wouldn't have known about it if I hadn't seen a trailer.
I feel like
So
I just never. I didn't even know this existed.
They knew how to get
No.
me in a seat. I saw one guy make a Reddit post that said Saoirse Ronan and Sam Rockwell in the same headline, and then this movie came out
Yeah.
like 2.5 years later. And
it's a great cast, because it's also got Adrian Brody doing what he does best, playing like a sleazy womanizer. It's got Ruth Wilson, who I absolutely love. Yeah, just a really good cast in this film.
Yeah, before Glass Onion came out, I recommended it as a little appetizer of a whodunit for it.
Yeah.
And then now when people say they liked Glass Onion, I was like, oh, if you want a little dessert, yeah, here's a follow-up, cute little whodunit.
Yeah, it really is well done. And one of my favorite little bits of trivia from this is the woman who plays the very elderly Agatha Christie is also the actress that plays Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter film.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Shirley Henderson.
Oh, I
Who
didn't
is-
even notice.
When she played Moaning Myrtle in those Harry Potter movies, she was like 40 years old.
Which is wild.
So, yeah.
I'm
But
gonna
see how
have
they
to
run.
turkey.
That's
Oh,
my
wow.
third pick.
I know
Preston, you got to go see it.
I know I said I hope Preston wins for the Puss in Boots pick, but now I kind of hope you win because that's. I just love you loving these movies that don't get enough love.
Oh,
Where is
well,
this on your
I
list,
appreciate
Michael?
that.
I have that at 18.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to get this one in.
I've got some nice grouping going on if we were playing darts with Michael's list. I got 18,
Yeah.
19. Yeah.
You did.
All right. So that's my third pick. Preston, what do you got next?
I'm gonna go with After Sun.
Oh,
There it is.
I was so close.
I had a
What?
feeling it wasn't gonna make it. Well, I guess it would have made it back to me probably, but well, no.
No, I wouldn't have let it.
Not based
Yeah.
on Michael's
Yeah.
reaction there. Was this a top 5 for you, Mike?
So it wasn't until I saw RRR, so it's at 6 right now. But I have
Okay.
a movie that some might categorize as 2021. I can explain myself in a sec. Sorry to
okay.
interrupt.
Mhm.
We're very
yeah,
strict about the rules on this show.
That's
so-
fine. That's fine.
This is another one that I actually don't think I want to spoil because there's such a growing sense throughout the movie that you know that something's wrong, and it very much becomes clear about halfway through what's going on. But ostensibly, it's about a girl going on vacation with her father and kind of reflecting on that vacation in a way as an older woman, but it is also the 95% of the movie is from the perspective of her as a child, while still kind of filling in some gaps that she wouldn't have known about. Whether she is reflecting on these things accurately or not, we can only guess, but by the culmination of the movie, you can guess she was probably right. The last 20 or 30 minutes of it are absolutely devastating and probably one of the most affecting finales of a movie that I've seen in a while. And a lot of it is done. I don't know. And this is weird because it's not really subtext. It should be, it's pretty clear what's going on. But
It's just text.
but it's
But they
not,
also
it's
never
not
say it.
text.
They also
Right.
never
It's
say
not
it, which
said.
is well done.
So it is subtext, but it's so it's so well done that it is like you are feeling every emotion as all of this comes to a head, and the realization is upon all of us. And I bawled like I just bawled the last 10, 15
Same.
minutes of that movie. And so I know I'm giving away a lot, at least emotionally, of what you can expect, but it is still very affecting because, again, Smithy kept, I don't know, he like brought it up once in the Discord, and I guess I went back and found that message, and decided
Yeah,
I'd watch
just
it.
once, right? Yeah.
Mhm,
For the
mhm.
folks who listen that are not active on our Discord, our good friend of the show, Smithy, changed his Discord handle to After Sun is on movie and has been nonstop trying to convince people to go watch this movie. So, way to lock up the vote there, Preston.
Thank you for your
And
service, James.
It's genuinely a great movie. Everyone should watch it. It is my patented seal of good, just fantastic cry movie. If you want to walk away devastated for a week, this is your movie.
Yeah, this is also the one that is sort of stuck with me the most. So I finally
Yeah.
was able to get this one maybe 8 or 9 days ago. And I have just like kept thinking about it and mulling stuff over in my head. And it's just like continued to go up and up and up. And yeah, that affecting feeling of the ending, like that has lasted on me. And
Mhm.
I kind of just wish I get why he wants everyone to watch it, because I do also kind of want everyone to watch it so like we can talk about it, or we can
Yeah.
have like this shared experience. And kind of what's stunning is it's a directorial debut.
Yeah. And
With
you can
insane.
almost feel it though. Like there is a almost in not like a natural feel to the way that it's all filmed, and it feels
There's a
I don't want
rawness.
to rawness. I was going to
Yeah.
say like an amateurness, but that's not, that has such bad connotation to it. But
And she's
yeah,
a stage
there's
director,
rawness.
right? Charlotte Wells, director.
Oh, is she?
I think so. But yeah, I think it's her first movie.
Mhm.
But it makes sense that she like has some experience with how fantastic this
Sure.
movie is.
Yeah. And
Definitely
the I mean, Paul Mescal got nominated for the Oscar, but
Which I love.
the girl, I think, is also a really standout performance in this one.
Yes.
I think both of those are like winner worthy. Paul would be
Frank.
my pick for best performance from a male this year.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, I was looking to see what Charlotte Wells did before this, and it looks like mostly just short films. But it has under accolades. She's been nominated for 6 Best Director awards so far this year, and has won all 6.
Oh, nice. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
It's just so like the cinematography is so unique in not like a try
It
hard
really
way.
is, yeah.
It's just shots that linger for like I'll say, oh yeah, that shot held for 5 seconds longer than I expected, but here it's like 5 minutes longer
Yeah.
than you expected.
And I think
Okay.
that's not necessarily like, I don't think I would ever rewatch the movie because of that. I think there is such a lingering slowness to the first 2/3 of the movie where I was like, surely, I'm halfway through and it's only been 20 minutes. And I don't think that's a detriment to the movie. And I want to be clear about that. I think you need that for that finale to be so crushing, of course. But like, it's hard to recommend, not only because you have to know sort of who you're recommending it to,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
because there are moments that are just drawn out to make you really linger in the summer sun on vacation by the pool,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's so good. Sorry.
There's
Yeah, I
also
agree.
a needle drop at the end of this movie
Yes.
that was really effective in the movie, but then I was listening to it again today, like after work, and I heard lyrics in that song that I have never heard before because the movie made me think about them in an entirely different way. And
Oh, wow.
that was, I don't want to say them here because I don't want to spoil that moment for people, but yeah.
Go watch.
Fair enough. All right. Well, with that, Michael, we got close to that top 5 of yours,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not quite. It sounds like
That-
you
but-
got 2 in a row here.
That's that's shambles for me because my number 5, if it came out in America, I could only see it in a theater in February. That's when it came out here, but it's technically listed as a 2021 movie. But first,
Was it eligible for this year's Oscar?
no, it had people nominated last year, so should I not pick that one? I'll do my number 3 first because that's
All right.
that's
All right.
no, it's not going to win any Oscars.
No
but it was my third
controversy.
favorite movie. Yeah, so sorry, James. I agree with you. I would have taken After Sun, but Preston beat me to it. But my third favorite movie of the year was Cha Cha Real Smooth.
Oh yeah.
Did you like that one?
I don't have it anywhere near as I have it at 23rd, but I loved this movie.
Let's go. I adore it, and I think I've watched it 5 times. It's a 2022 movie, and it is on Apple TV, I believe. I watched it on Virtual Sundance last year, and quickly went and looked up the like hotshot 23-year-old director / lead actor. He made a really fun mumblecore movie in college called Shithouse that if you like this, you'll love. Both had some scenes that kind of really rocked me emotionally, and I cried in each of them. But this is just such a fun, like, odd family romp. It's not a family movie, but like there's an odd ensemble in it of... Yeah, I bought in. I put my hands up and tried to empathize with those empathizing in the movie. I know some people called it a little saccharine. A couple of my friends couldn't get into it, but everyone that like didn't have any hangups about the character's demeanor like absolutely loved it. It's such a comforting, fun rom-com's probably not the right word, but it's
I'd
around
call it
that.
a rom-com, yeah.
Okay.
I think that fit. I mean, it's a pretty encompassing term if you use it for a movie like this, but
Yeah. And yep, I really enjoyed it and recommend it. I think it's an easy watch that not many people are going to get bored with if you're into rom-coms, and it's on Apple TV.
How prominently is the Cha-Cha slide featured in the movie?
It's very prominent. And also that's
Excellent.
a great name. That's why I picked that one at
Yeah.
Sundance. I heard like there was buzz, but if you name your movie Cha-Cha Real Smooth, I got to go see it. I guess to share any amount of plot, I'm a go in blind guy, so I naturally don't do
me
this.
too, yeah.
It's a guy, it's a weird coming of age movie, which I love coming of age, but it's not the like high school coming of age. It's the I just got home from college, like graduated college and don't know how to figure out my life or have anything going on. And so it's a guy in that stage of life, and he decides or kind of gets thrust into this ad hoc career as a bar mitzvah hype man, and that includes playing the cha-cha slide at bar mitzvahs and teaching kids the dance and whatnot.
Excellent.
Yeah, but there's some really interesting relationships and romantic geometry happening all around that.
Nice.
And standout performances, I think, by both Cooper Raiff and Dakota Johnson,
Yeah.
who I kind of maybe would have even put... I don't even know if this was eligible for Oscars, actually.
Oh, really?
If it
Because
was, I would have put Dakota Johnson in, because I think she's so good in this.
yeah.
I don't
She's
know if
very
it got
good.
a theatrical release or not.
Oh, is that what determines? Yeah, 'cause I think Apple
This
TV.
year they changed it, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I
Wow.
know it was like Apple TV spent the most money at Sundance last year, I think, to buy this one, and I don't know that it was in theaters either. So maybe that's disqualifying it.
Or actually, I think Sundance actually qualifies it, so it probably was eligible.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, worth checking out. Great fun.
The only
Alright.
thing I don't like about this movie, and it's similar issue with After Sun, is that they're pro-dance propaganda, which I cannot abide.
Wait, what's dance propaganda?
Anything that says that dancing is good and fun.
Wait,
Get
hold
rid of
on.
it. Get
This
it
is
out of here.
a
Not my town.
fundamental. We have a fundamental
Um,
dichotomy between our values here because
Well, the fundamental
schism.
dichotomy between Zach and his own profession too. I feel
yeah,
like.
what the
That
heck?
is
You're the
true,
musical
yeah.
man.
Yeah, but
Dance
you have to understand, I'm also was raised Jewish and went to a lot of bar mitzvahs and wanted to stay as far away from those dance floors as
Oh
possible.
no, that's so sad. I feel like a major bullet point for why I like movies is often like X dance scene. So
Well, I mean, the dance scene in RRR I love.
Yes.
pieces.
Hmm,
yeah,
okay.
I contain
All right.
multitudes. What can I say?
Yeah.
Well, the real question, Michael, is does your fourth pick have a dance scene in it?
It does have some dancing.
Ooh.
Not prominent, not a lot, but here's where we go. So my fifth favorite movie that I have of this year was The Worst Person in the World, but that technically was the 2021. So also I'll play the Draft Punks game a little bit and pick something that I think maybe is more popular that I had at 8 since you guys took 6 and 7, and that was the Batman.
Damn it. I would rather
Okay.
you took the worst person
Well,
in the world.
Worst Person in the World
The
is
Batman.
fantastic, but the Batman is great. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I never thought anything would get close Batman wise to The Dark Knight for me, and this one
Took it.
was close. No, it didn't take it for me, but it was still up there. And I love emo Pattinson, Robert Pattinson. Like, he's just such a good actor, and I love the lane they force him in here. This is a very good Bruce Wayne movie. Bruce Wayne dying, and I hope we get to see more of the Batman in the follow-up movies. Paul Dano, I mean, I'm about to go see The Fabelmans, even though it looks boring just because Paul Dano's in it. And
wow, what a take.
Yeah, that was just catching strays.
yeah. He just leaves it all on the court. His performance worked for me. I forgot Colin Farrell's in this. He's probably having the biggest year. After Yang is still my favorite Colin Farrell of the year, but yeah, he's somewhere under that get up, and he does a good job. I think he's funny.
I completely forgot he's in that,
He's
just
Penguin,
because it is just he is Penguin. Like I
Well, and for a while there was talk that there was going to be like a 6-episode Penguin TV show on HBO Max.
Oh, that's
and I don't
not
know if
happening anymore?
I don't
No, it
know.
is.
I just haven't
Stills
heard
came out
anything
from
about
it.
It
Like
is?
literally
Okay.
yesterday or today.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. Still happening. You heard it here first.
Okay. But yeah, the mood, the opening of the Batman, like that just set an excitement for me that
Mhm.
and it didn't fade, such that similar to a couple long movies this year, like 3 hours flew by, or I don't know, this one wasn't
Yeah.
actually 3 hours, but I was ready for another couple.
Yeah, that opening scene where it's the mayor or some politician in his home there, and he kind of like steps away while he's on the phone, and he's just there. Like, it has that sharp instrumental, and that was my biggest probably jump scare moment.
Oh yeah.
Of the year,
And that was great. I honestly forgot and was thinking about when it sets up Batman, like he is everywhere, but he's only in one spot. Just all the criminals fearing the different shadows around them, and it kind of cuts. And you don't, us as an audience, we don't know which one he's going to show up in. That was a big win for me.
And I think like him stepping out of the shadows, and before he's even stepped out, we always know the Batman scene where they look to the left and he comes flying in from the right because he's so sneaky and he is the knight and all that stuff. But like in this movie, their take on it is his heavy boots just start clunking down the hallway because he wants you to know that he's coming in with force and he's not worried.
Yeah.
Like, and it's such a different take on like the overt violence of Batman and use of force and intimidation and the idea that crime should fear me because I will suss you out and I will destroy you, instead of being a supporter of the community and building them up. And like him sort of coming to realize and coming to terms with the way that he has abandoned Gotham throughout his tenure as Batman, because he could have been doing all of these things and he wasn't looking after his books and supporting the financially troubled, and like he was just using this intimidation and this force to root out crime. But by the end of it, he realizes that like that isn't going to be the way that he should approach this at all times. And it works so well to build out the extremists that come by the end of the movie. And I don't think it's a super overt like parallel, but they do a great job of paralleling, modern crime suppression, right? And
He did air quotes.
oh yeah, thank you. And so I thought that it goes a little bit deeper than I think initial surface watch gives you. And I still don't think it's necessarily a great movie outside of the theaters though. I do think it's I don't know why, it just did not hold up maybe it's because I saw it twice in the theaters. So by the time I saw it,
The Nirvana doesn't hit as
It
hard
doesn't,
outside of
yeah.
the theaters.
Yeah, I think part of it is like the physicality of the movie, though. Like this felt like the most like physically demanding Batman movie that I've ever seen. Just in the stunts and everything, like you could feel the punches a lot of the time. That scene where he's like crashing through the street and just like how does he get up from that? He's just like ow.
Yeah.
And I feel like with these movies and most superhero movies, like it's only as good as the villain. And this probably is the best Batman villain since, Heath Ledger obviously is always going to be A1 with a bullet, but this is probably the second for me, at least on the list.
Yeah.
So I'm actually like a lot lower on this movie than
Ooh,
almost
okay.
everyone. I still like it. There's a lot that I love about this movie. Obviously, I love the cinematography. I love the tone. I think it's my number 2 score of the year. I think that score is just unbelievable. And the way it seems like a score based off of basically 2 themes, the Imperial March theme and the
Yes.
minor Ave Maria theme
Absolutely.
should get old, but he does such a good job of making every time that theme, either one of those themes show up, be different in some way that I just thought it was really spectacular.
Do you have
My-
a top 5 scores of the year? Because I love listening to scores and soundtracks, but I don't. I'm probably not as conscious of them as you are, and I'd love to go give them a second listen.
I think I did 3. So I did RRR, The Batman, and then Nope are my top.
Oh,
3.
okay, great.
And then I have a bunch of others and then maybe probably Banshees after that. Actually, I really like that score as well.
Okay.
My issue with the Batman is that I think I needed it to be good at one of 2 things, and it didn't hit on either of them for me. One of them was the set pieces. I thought the set pieces generally were not all that exciting, which I think was the point of the movie. I think he was supposed to be bad at being Batman. The problem for me then came that I thought it was not a very good detective movie. I thought there were so many, I listened to so many podcasts about this where people had to have explained to them on the podcast who El Rata Alada was. And I had to look it up after I saw the movie. And that is just inexcusable to me in a 3-hour movie to have the central thrust of your mystery be something that people don't get in your movie. And it bums me out a lot because almost everything else about this movie I loved.
That's fair.
All right. Well, we have the Batman kicking off round 4 then. Preston, you are up next.
Oh, God, I should really be marking these off as we're going. I'm going to go with Prey.
Ah, damn. These last 2, the Batman and Prey, I was like, at least if I get these 2, I can have a respectable list. I don't have to go deep into the bad Disney movies I watched this year.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's go.
Lightyear is coming. Don't worry.
I love it. Iconic draft pick. Lightyear.
All
round
right.
4.
All right, let's hear it, Preston.
Prey was good.
It's real good.
It was real good. Again, another kind of surprise. I wasn't expecting much of it. It's straight to Hulu. And I didn't know necessarily a whole lot about the care that was taken into production or anything. There's a new Predator movie coming out and it's a prequel and it's a new Predator movie, so it'll be probably fine. But it was so fun. It was really, really cool. There was so many deaths and traps that were very intricate. I think if we're getting into the gore fun of it all, the part where there's a netting of lasers that comes down and cuts through the guy and turns him into little kind of chunks was
That was righteous.
straight out of the the first Resident Evil movie with the lasers. It was
Iconic Resident Evil moment.
yeah, and
Laser hallway.
it was something that really stood out to me as the deaths, while very, very gruesome, all added to the tension for the characters that we were watching rather than just being completely gratuitous, even though they were still gratuitous. It felt earned, and it felt Predator. It felt like this is scary as hell, and if I saw that, I would just lay down and allow myself to die. Are you kidding me? This is horrifying. And it just added to the fight and added to the intensity of it all. So good. But yeah, I'll let you all talk more on it. It was great.
Yeah, no, I love this one too. One of the cooler facts about this one is that it is the first full feature-length film that has an entire dub in Comanche as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
they considered doing a Hunt for Red October thing where they like started the film in Comanche and then had a moment where like you hear a sound cue and it kind of switches over to English, but they thought that might be too confusing for audiences, so they just filmed it in English audio. But then the entire cast did a all Comanche dub that you can
Oh, it's the
listen
cast.
to on. Yeah, it is the same cast.
Oh wow.
I didn't know it was
yeah,
the same cast.
so-
That's really cool.
Yeah,
is.
because yeah, Amber Mid Thunder playing
Great name.
the main character, fantastic name. She was awesome on Legion as well, one of my
Yes.
favorite TV shows ever made. So
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
but yeah, I love this film. Like I think we need more of this, like classic horror movie villains put in a completely weird setting, like that you would never expect, like going back hundreds of years and just tossing a predator onto the planet, like is so cool. And I wish we could get more of
Good
that.
news. We're about to go back even further and toss an Adam Driver onto the planet.
Oh.
65, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I am actually excited for that
It
movie.
looks like sci-fi schlock, and I'm really
Oh yeah.
excited for it.
Yeah. Well, except I keep saying 65 million years ago, but dinosaurs were 6,000 years ago, right, Preston?
Yeah.
So,
I've read
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Okay. In a book. All right. No, this is a great movie. Zach, Michael, have you guys seen Prey?
Yeah, I liked the dog.
Oh, there's a dog.
It's a good puppy.
I feel like that's damning with faint praise from Michael.
Oh
Moran
no,
over
that
there.
wasn't
I don't
supposed to be
know.
a dig. That was just supposed to be like a fun dog thing. The dog,
The dog
was
was
good.
good?
I
Okay.
am like lower than all my friends on this one, but I don't have bad things to say. I was just like, it was a more classic action movie for me that I had fun watching. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't stand out
Yeah.
recommending it like all my other friends. So
If I had
sorry,
been able to
I'll
get
let Zach go if he has.
I have like two major blind spots from 2022 still, and Preston has taken both of them. So I haven't seen
Ooh.
Prey or Puss in Boots yet.
Oh,
It's just because
Puss in
my
Boots.
brain is like broken, and I won't be able to enjoy those movies if I don't suffer through all of the Shreks and all of
Yeah.
the Predator movies first.
you brought that up on
So-
Stream It. You said like I haven't seen Shrek 3 yet, and I was just like, are you?
Oh, you don't need
kidding?
Yeah, no.
You don't need to see any of those.
You have to understand, like, I know it I know it doesn't affect like plot, but like I enjoy knowing how
Mhm.
things develop historically, and I just will not be able to enjoy those movies knowing that there's stuff I haven't watched. And it does bum me out because I did watch Alien vs. Predator Requiem yesterday, and it was so unbelievably bad.
Mhm.
But I'm so hyped for when I get to
Well,
Prey.
the-
I just have to
This is
watch two
better.
more Predator
Well, hold on,
movies.
because the good news is Prey takes place before all the other Predator movies, so
Technically.
you don't need to watch anything for
Yeah.
historical
It doesn't-
context.
Facts.
our world historical context. Like,
Yeah.
I want to experience them.
I understand. Yeah, no, I think this is a great pick, Preston, and I'm jealous. Oy. I'm gonna.
I think I've gotten the most shambles
Yeah.
tonight. By the way, I'm just gonna toot my own horn here.
maybe.
Like you've given the
Uh,
Yeah, I
most?
think I've
Okay.
given the most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
I'm gonna, because I did still enjoy the movie. I'm gonna take the movie that I wish had been more like Everything Everywhere All at Once. We've teased it a couple of times. I'm gonna take Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness here with my fourth pick. The closest we will probably get to an MCU horror film. Sam Raimi directing of the Evil Dead franchise, and you could really feel that presence throughout the movie. Like it's almost like there's a tug of war going on in this movie between Sam Raimi's voice and like the Disneyfication of like everything Marvel needs to be very samey at this point.
Yeah.
But the horror movie moments really work well, like the scene of Scarlet Witch crawling out of the mirror and doing the body contortion.
Yeah.
And
I
then
love that.
the most horrifying moment we've gotten in the MCU, I feel like, when she's chasing them through that tunnel underground, and you just like, it's so visceral, like you just feel her presence coming for them. And they are just terrified. Like that worked so well towards the end of the film. But like I said, I wish they had been willing to take a few more risks. I think the MCU in general would benefit from that. I've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and that didn't change my opinion on that. I still feel like they need to take more risks on this stuff. But for me, like the most interesting part of the movie is when Strange and America Chavez dimension hop there through like 10, 12 different dimensions. And like for a moment, they're like just globs of paint. And I'm like, let's stay in that universe for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
instead of going to New York, but slightly more eco-friendly.
It's the Rock moment from Everything Everywhere All at Once, but everything
Yeah.
did it right. Oh man.
Right. Yeah. So I still enjoyed the movie. I think it's one of the bolder MCU movies we've gotten this phase, but I wanted it to be even more. So
I mean, I wasn't gonna take this movie, I don't think, but I love this. Like, this is my
Yeah.
14th highest movie of the year. I have it at B+. I loved the
Okay.
raiminess of all of it. It's my highest MCU movie this year.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Same.
I like this pick.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the first MCU movie off the board tonight. So I don't know if it'll be the only one. Might not be because of what's left on my list. But
Oh no.
I'm gonna try to avoid Love and Thunder if possible. That's my last resort here. But yeah, so that's my pick. And Zach, you get to finish your list first with your fourth and fifth picks here.
I do. So I'm actually gonna skip a few movies on my list.
Interesting.
Potentially for gamesmanship, but also because I just think it gives me a little bit more rounded of a lineup. So I'm gonna jump down to my 12th highest movie and take a movie that was alluded to earlier in this podcast, which is Barbarian. So I have this at B+. I absolutely loved the ride of this movie. It was one that I had been intrigued by the trailer. I think it is. I tend not to be a trailer person. This one I happened to see in theaters and was like, oh, I want to see that movie. And I also thought, I have no idea how that trailer can sustain an entire movie.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the answer to that question was probably the most surprising moment that I had at the movies this entire year. And I don't want to spoil it for people, but if you've seen it, it comes after a blackout and just like a true, genuine moment of what in the world is going on. I think the Skarsgård in this movie, I think it's Bill, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gives a really, really great performance and a really meta performance that lives because we all know that he is the clown from It. And I think the script is really, really good. And yeah, I love this movie. And it gives me a horror movie on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like not necessarily typecast, but it seems like Bill Skarsgård has been doing a lot of
Castle Rock.
just creepy stuff in general. Yeah, between Castle Rock and It, and now Barbarian.
What an insane family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Pure
It's
talent.
nuts. The careers.
What was the other one? I saw Bill Skarsgård in a non-horror movie recently, and I'm trying. Sorry, this is
Don't
great.
worry, darling.
Great podcasting.
He's not
he's
in
not
9
about
days.
those.
I don't think.
9
Oh,
days.
yeah.
Did you see 9 days?
Oh,
Michael
9
or
days.
Zach?
Wait, yeah,
I
that's
haven't,
one of my
no.
favorites from last year. If that's what I'm thinking of.
It's a 2020.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oh, well, I think okay. Maybe it's technically 2020, but I think that's one that wasn't available to
True.
actually
It came
watch
out
for.
in the
a
US
layman.
it came out 2021. You're right.
Yeah, and I loved that movie. That was high
That
last year for me.
Yeah, and Bill Skarsgård is fantastic in that too. But yeah, he definitely takes on some really interesting roles, but so far, yeah, he slays it for sure. So
Michael, did you see Barbarian as well?
No, that's one of the like big. I
Oh.
think there's 4 big ones that I did
Oh.
not see, like that I want to see, including Avatar. Somehow I still
Same.
haven't seen Avatar.
Hmm. Oh, curious.
And Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and then I had Triple R, but I saw that.
I definitely, like I said, I have a bad habit of after drinking, it'll be like 2 a.m. or whatever, and I'll come home and I'm just trying to like kind of like have some water, have some food, and I'll just go to Amazon, rent a movie that's like $6 and just fall asleep.
Oh, so drinking isn't the bad habit.
Oh,
It's
right,
the-
right.
the
Yeah,
movie
no, it's the
renting.
movie
It's,
renting.
Yeah.
it's the renting that got you.
Yeah, I guess I
the
did
Top
leave
Gun
that out.
Maverick story makes more sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
And I do that. Banshees. That's how
And
I
this
watch
happened with Barbarian also.
Banshees, Top Gun, and After Sun. And
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Barbarian's the only one that I didn't rewatch or finish. Or,
Finish because you
Mhm.
told us you only saw the bad half. Of
Yeah,
the movie. What you called the bad.
Well,
Wait, so is the bad half the first half?
I mean, I don't know. Is it?
I thought you meant you walked in on the second.
No. See, I've only seen like part of the first half, and then like just the
Oh.
conversation around it is what the hell happens over the course of the movie. So
Yeah.
I think I'm there's so much that I'm
I
missing.
wanna-
and I
yeah.
really need to invest my time into it.
Gosh.
Hmm,
I want to talk about the actor that's in the second half, but I also don't want to give away the actor that's in the second half
Ooh.
because he
let's let
made such
people-
a because he's been in a couple weird twists.
Brian, you
movies
did
too
see
recently,
Barbarian?
so I have
You're
not,
right.
but
Oh,
I've that's right.
Brian, that's
Zach
your
gets
bad
it.
habit.
It is. It
I
absolutely.
was going to say that is not your kind of movie. I'd be surprised.
Does it give you joy? If it gives you joy, that's fine. But I feel like that's just like a net loss
does.
across the board.
I get it. I get it from my mom. I think I've told this story before, but when the final Harry Potter book came out, I went to a midnight release. I brought it home. I was reading in my bed until like 4 a.m., passed out. And when I woke up, the book was gone. I went downstairs, and my mom, who had not read a single page of any Harry Potter book, was just reading the epilogue. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I just want to know who lived."
That's
Oh
hilarious.
my god.
So apparently, I was so mad at her, but apparently, I've fallen into the trap. That's what I do.
That makes
now,
it
so.
cute. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So Barbarian is the 4th pick. Time to finish that list. Zach, what do you got at number 5?
Yeah, maybe I'm used to play Magic, and sometimes when
Oh.
you overthink things, it's called fancy play syndrome. So this might be that because I'm taking my 3rd highest animated movie at 17, but I think it rounds my list out the best, and that is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Nice.
I think this is a really delightful little movie, and it has a lot of heart to it. I guess people haven't seen it, so I don't want to spoil too many of the jokes, but it does have what I think is my wife's favorite line from a movie this year, and she has been quoting it ever since we watched it. So yeah, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Oh man, and you can't give us the line. Too much of a spoiler.
No, I mean, it doesn't really spoil stuff, but Marcel is like wondering why you end your letters with best or sincerely, and says, I think they should end it with like to war. To battle, I think is what they say. But
Very
I
good.
can't do her voice as good, so it's much cuter when the snail does it, or the Marcel
Mm.
does it.
Gotcha.
Did y'all watch much
Um,
Marcel the Shell, like whenever it was YouTube?
I had watched
Not
none.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went in blind.
I have a friend that used to
Wait,
watch
so
all
it
the
was
time.
it was a thing before the movie?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
it's
that.
like a big
Oh.
YouTube series, and it was kind of like a mid 2000s viral thing, if I remember right. I have a friend that was super into it. Ashley was like loved Marcel the Shell and would show her students and stuff whenever we taught together, and so I really thought she would be hyped for it. And I don't think she ever ended up seeing it. I don't know. I need to ask her, but it had sort of like this very core. I think hit on a lot of core nostalgic memories for big part of our generation that I don't know. I don't know how well it landed for those people. Like but I'd like to know if you are a Marcel the Shell fan and you saw the movie. Let us know.
Yeah, hop in the
my
Discord. Vote
my
for me.
MTS fans or friends are red hot on it. I've heard high praise from the
Okay.
people that have nostalgia
Okay.
for it.
Goodness. I'm stuck with either taking my third murder mystery or my second MCU or Avatar 2.
Avatar 2 is
You
very
Um,
can't
respectable.
take Turning Red. Didn't you see
what
Turning Red?
I did see Turning Red, but I think we talked about this on the Discord server a little bit. I really appreciate Turning Red for what it is, but
I forgot that.
unlike Everything Everywhere All at Once, it is not a movie for young men like myself. So
Boo.
I appreciate who that movie was made for, though, and I'm glad that it was made for that reason. But it's not for me.
The meme pic of Morbius is calling to you.
Oh, dang. Would that technically be an MCU pick, though?
Ooh.
Morbius is my 72nd movie of the year.
I've got it
I-
at 71 out of
Oh,
71.
It was that bad?
Wow. Even with Matt Smith's incredible dancing, huh?
That's
Yep.
why it's third to last.
Instead of last, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
I need to watch this movie.
Maybe,
I
maybe
do think-
Moonfall? Take that for you?
But begrudgingly, I am gonna go with Avatar 2.
I think
Like-
that's a good pick. That'll
Yeah.
get you some votes,
Yeah.
probably.
I don't
Yeah,
know that
why-
it will.
why
though.
begrudgingly?
Yeah.
I don't know that it will get me any votes.
I've heard it
That's
was
the thing,
great.
like,
People love it, right?
I feel like everyone I know that went and saw it was just kind of like, yeah, Avatar. Like it's cool to look at. It was another Avatar movie. Like I don't know, like it didn't blow me away. The visuals are obviously really incredible. That's like the selling point of the movie. The story was still kind of semi predictable.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I agree.
it wasn't quite Pocahontas this time around, but like it was pretty clear where it was going very early on. That being said, like technically and visually, if you're into the CGI and cinematography of things, it is one of the most visually impressive movies ever made, probably. And despite the fact that I feel like everyone's got 10 years of Avatar fatigue built up from hearing the sequel was coming and it never being released, like it still crossed $1 billion easily
Yeah.
box office, like mostly overseas. I think this is a very popular franchise still, especially in Asia. But if we get those votes in on the server, I think I've got a good shot here.
If we're going dollars earned, you're probably winning.
See, and I knew that was gonna happen too. Like
Mhm.
I'm definitely the MCU normie of this draft. I'm definitely the most mainstream. I feel like, with the exception of See How They Run. But yeah, it's fine. And of the things I have left on my list, which we can talk about during honorable mentions, it's probably the most interesting. I was kind of stuck between this or Black Panther. So, but yeah, I'll go with Avatar 2 here. Giant whales for the win.
Yeah, and it sounds like I'm a little higher on this movie than you are. I have it at
Okay.
37 at B-. I think the first act is pretty messy.
Yeah.
But I think that third act is pretty spectacular. It just has the misfortune of being in the same season as Top Gun Maverick and RRR, which have like
Mhm.
some of the best third acts of all time. But
Right.
any other year, like this would be one of like probably the best third act of the year.
Yeah.
So,
And I will say, I just remembered this as we're talking about it, because I have not thought about this movie very much since I saw it, honestly. But complete waste of the talent that is Jermaine Clement in this film. Flight of the Conchords star. He's gone on to do a bunch of other stuff.
Was he a
but
giant golden
they-
crab in this movie, or
No, they
That
bring him
song
in and
rips.
like
a silver crab.
silver? Yeah.
they bring him in like the second hour of the film as like a marine biologist type character.
Oh, yeah.
and I just, like-
talking about.
Yeah, and I just like kept waiting for him to do something funny because that's who Jermaine Clement is, and it was just like played it dead straight. I don't know if he was just like a huge Avatar fan, so they gave him a part or something, but it felt really weird because I've never seen him do anything so serious. Like, I don't know, it just felt very strange because I love that guy, and this is the first thing I think I've ever seen him in that I was just kind of like, afterwards. So, but yeah, Avatar 2, with so much love in my heart. That's my final pick here. Preston, you get to finish your list next.
I'm gonna have. Oh man, this is tough. I think I'm gonna go with The Menu. I had such a fun time with that. That was the movie where my wife and I went to the theater the day after Thanksgiving, and we had The Menu and Glass Onion. And we said, we'll go see The Menu now because it's short, and we'll go see Glass Onion next week. And guess what?
How'd that work out for you?
It wasn't there.
I was so.
Oh, no.
I came home and I told Brian immediately. I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go see Glass Onion next week," and he just said, "I'm
said, "No,
so
you're not."
sorry, bud." No, you're not. Let me tell you, but I'm super glad.
Because I think that night was literally the
It
last
was, yeah.
night Glass Onion was in theaters. Like, you couldn't have even gone back the next day. Like, you're just screwed.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I had no idea it was a limited release, but okay, The Menu. It's just fun. It takes
I
itself
think it's a fun movie.
very seriously while not taking itself very seriously at all. Like it kind of the satirical rip on people that just demand perfection and believe themselves to be at the absolute height of artistry. And not only that, but all the sycophants that follow them and all the people that want to be them. And it just sort of does a takedown. And I don't know if it really does any of that super well. I don't think that by the end of it,
Yeah.
I felt very justified in the mass murder of all the people that were there. I don't.
Which is probably good for you.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you
A
want.
lot of
you know?
those people sucked a lot. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there was just something where it was just like you walk away from it, and I guess that is kind of I guess that is the point. You shouldn't be rooting for the death of all of these people, anyways. But
Preston's coming to terms with the fact that he's a content creator and would be one of these people eating at the restaurant.
I would be Nicholas Holt in a heartbeat.
Oh no.
No,
He's good. He's good. in this
he was
movie.
fantastic, and I think I'm picking this movie for Nicholas Holt over much. I mean, oh my God, Ray Fiennes. Thank you. Was really great. It was I don't know. Nicholas Holt felt so disgusting and genuine, and it was so sleazy, and he has the most comeuppance out of anyone, out of all of the terrible people there. You get this sense of just complete tear down of everything that is his character by the time he meets his end, and it's I thought it worked really well, and it's not a movie that lasted with me. It's probably not a movie I'll think of at the end of next year. You know, it's not something that will stick with me, but I thought it was walking out of the movie. I had a lot to talk about. And it was really enjoyable to kind of dissect a little bit beyond what we saw.
The thing that I think has stuck with me the most about this movie is I think the general visual aesthetic as well as the production design of this movie is really,
Yeah.
really strong. I think the way they built that island and also the way they like played all of the meals, I think it all is a real standout.
And the editing, the cute title cards with the cinematic
Yeah.
shots
Yes.
of the dishes in
It's
between
so
those.
cool. It's fun.
When I think that a lot of that adds to the conversation of like the artistry and the breaking down of like the meals and the culinary world, like we were talking about with Tar earlier, you can apply this to a lot of any sort of narcissistic personality that is within that uses their power for abuse, right? And you can take all the people that follow them and support them despite how terrible they are. And you can apply that to so many different industries. And I think very specifically the film industry. And I think it had a little
Sure.
more to say about the film industry than it did the culinary industry than maybe it lets on at first viewing. But it's probably just the fact that it can be transferred. Any of these moments you could see, if this was in a movie theater with the director and they were doing a director doing the showing of his, a collection of short films, that would have worked just as well with all of these people, all of these characters, and all of the setting. And I think that really shows how they did keep their themes. There's just something about it that there's a disconnect that I walked away not feeling completely satisfied. Which I don't know. There's a food pun in there.
Just like 5-star dining.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Michael. It's often called the toughest pick of the draft. You have the last selection here. You have to pick one more movie out of your list of 71.
Yeah, finally it's come to me where there's some real holes poked in my options. And I'm tempted to reach for back a little bit for like a Bullet Train, something I think will have more
Michael
crowd pull. But what?
I was gonna say, can I please guess?
Oh, really?
I had Bullet.
But here's
I
what
had
I'm
Bullet
thinking.
Train on there.
I know. I feel like the last time I learned I should play the game more. I do like Bullet Train and Ambulance. Those are the Bash Bros I got sitting at 14 and 15. But
no.
I feel
Ambulance
like
is second to last for me.
oh no,
Wow.
it's so awesome! It rules, flat out rules.
Oh, wow.
But I feel like there's no beating a list that has Everything Everywhere All at Once and Top Gun anyway. So I'll pick what's next on my list that I love, and that is Decision to Leave. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's so good. That is, I don't know where you watch that now, but it's the Park Chan-wook, the guy who did like Old Boy and The Handmaiden, and it is such a interesting movie. A lot of the reasons I said about Tar, and even a bit of Aftersun, where I'm like continually like thinking it's one thing and trying to figure out if that's right. This was one where I thought I had the movie figured out, and then a couple heel turns and like extra layers were revealed, and I learned it was more. And I feel like I always liked the next thing more. It's a cop detective story, or it might open to be, but there's far more a romance story by the end of it, and just like incredible cinematography, similar to what I said about Aftersun. There's a lot of strange shots of people in reflections, things being shot through other things, and worlds blending together, scenes where a person is shown in a room that they're not actually in to convey them thinking about that room, and overall just a lot of mystery. Another slow burn. There are some like bright spots of action if like you absolutely need to be engaged with some sort of violence, like there are cops who arrest and fight people, but the reveals of these motivations of the two central characters and a potential love interest, a romance budding between a cop and the person they're investigating, and then you don't know who's playing who and if anyone's playing anyone. And yeah, there's a certain soft electricity throughout this whole movie for me that kept me engaged.
Interesting. And you said it's the same director as Old Boy?
Yes, I believe that's the guy. I hope
The South
I'm not
Korean
mixing up
version.
that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Park Chan-wook.
So when you say this is a romantic mystery, I hope you don't mean in the same way as Old Boy.
No incest.
Okay. Spoilers for Old Boy. Yeah. Old Boy was one that a freshman year of college, someone in my hall had seen that for the first time and immediately was just like running up and down the hall, like trying to get anyone he could to sit down and watch it with him, because it's just so wild at the time, you know. So I saw that one, but I haven't seen anything else he said. Oh,
I'm not a big Old Boy fan. Like I like this one a lot more. For the record, you don't have to
Michael
like
Moran,
Old Boy.
big Shrek guy, not a big Old Boy.
Correct, absolutely. That the chasm between those two pillars of cinema is vast. Shrek is far superior, and that is not me joking at all.
But yeah, just to say that's the only movie by this director I've seen. So when you said that, I'm immediately in my head like thinking, oh, there's got to be some kind of wild twist or something that's going to happen in this. But I'm down based on my list. You can tell I'm down for a mystery thriller movie. So this sounds up my alley. I'm
Yeah,
gonna check it out.
it's very different than those like whodunits,
Yeah.
but it's great, man. And
Okay.
when I was nominating like actors with my friends, the
Yeah.
male and female lead both got
Mm.
nomination shout outs from me.
100%.
And the female lead eats ice cream for dinner a lot. Ice cream's my favorite food. I think I eat more than anyone in the United States, and I eat it for dinner a lot, so I related to her.
In the movie she does, or the actress in real life?
In the movie. In the movie.
Okay.
she does.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Well, excellent pick, Michael, and
Thanks.
excellent draft, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Before we go, we'll just do a little bit of housekeeping here, starting with repeating our lists and taking our votes. So, Zach, you had the first pick tonight. Can you just remind everybody at home what you drafted?
Yeah, so I took Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Barbarian, and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Excellent. I took Nope with the number 2 pick, and then followed that up with Glass Onion, See How They Run, The Multiverse of Madness, and Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Preston.
I took Banshees of
Inisherin.
can do it.
Inisherin. Thank you.
Nice.
Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, After
Let's
Sun,
go.
Prey, and The Menu.
Excellent. And Michael.
I took RRR, The Northman, Cha Cha Real Smooth, The Batman, and Decision to Leave.
And Michael, we'll start with you for the vote. Do you know who you are casting your ballot for?
Oh my! I'm really like. I feel like Zach will win. Everything Everywhere All at Once and Top Gun Maverick's such a
Yeah.
powerful pick, but I love Puss in Boots. I love that Preston took it,
Puss in
and I was
Boots.
most desperate to take After Sun out of any of these other options. That's what I feel like would have rounded my list out the best. So I'm gonna vote for Preston.
Hell yeah.
All right. And Preston, who are you going to be voting for?
Sorry, Michael. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hitch on to the winner of this draft, so I can say I was there first and go with Zach's list. It was
Yes.
Everything Everywhere. I mean, it's exactly what you said, Michael. It's Top Gun Maverick, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then just rounded out with Tar, Barbarian, and Marcel the Shell. But like those two are gonna pull up for anyone that hasn't seen the other three. Are going to immediately
Yeah.
identify with those two. And also, all three of those, a little less Marcel the Shell for me, but the other two are ones that I really, really do want to see soon and that are like top of my must-watch list, especially after the conversation tonight. So,
Yeah, and I feel the same way, except about Michael's list. I've seen the Batman, and I've seen half of Triple R, much to Zach's chagrin. I want to finish it. I've seen R
1.5 hours.
But after hearing him talk about it, I really want to see The Northman, and Decision to Leave sounds very interesting as well. I don't know that I'm totally sold on Cha Cha, but both of you love it, so I might have to give that one a watch
That's
too. But
the
other two for
easiest
sure.
watch of those. It's
Yeah.
quicker.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
But my vote is going to go to Michael,
Thank
and
you,
that
friend.
leaves you, Zach, to cast the final vote. You
Yeah.
gonna give one of these guys the lead.
It's tough. If I had seen Puss in Boots and or Prey, I feel like Preston would be getting my vote. And it's weird because The Batman is my lowest ranked movie that was picked today.
Okay.
But I think I gotta go with Mike.
Thank
right.
you.
Those are just everything else is at 25 or above for me. Or actually 24 or above, because Decision to Leave is at 24. And yeah, RRR and The Northman are bangers.
Nice. Zach, did you have any honorable mentions that we haven't talked about yet that you just want to fire off real
Sure,
quick?
I'll
I know you have
mention-
74, but
I'll mention the 3 that I skipped.
Yeah.
So The Fablemans I have at 7. I love this movie a lot.
Sorry for my
yeah,
comments.
Michael Moran.
I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
No, I think it looks boring too.
I thought it did too.
But then I saw it and I loved it to pieces. And the thing about it is that meant a lot to me is we don't really get to see anti-Semitism portrayed in media outside of the Holocaust very often. And this movie, I thought, did it very well. So that was meaningful to me personally. And then at 9, I have The Sea Beast, which I absolutely love to pieces.
Oh, nice.
I just was worried a lot of people wouldn't have seen it, but maybe they haven't seen Marcel the Shell. And then at 11, I had Turning Red.
I mean, that's good though, because it gets, more people hearing about it, and maybe they will go see it now.
I want to see The Sea Beast because I know it's above like Pinocchio, and well, you haven't seen Puss in Boots because that'll take the top spot easy for you. But
absolutely,
I wanted to see The Sea Beast because I knew that you were so high on it, and I love me some animated movies, so that's going on my list too.
Yeah.
The animation is spectacular. The action sequences are great too in that movie.
All right. For my own list, I mentioned Black Panther 2. I had that on there. I actually really like the starting premise of Lightyear. I feel like the first 15-20 minutes are like legitimately some of the darkest moments in an animated Disney film ever when you consider like the repercussions of what Buzz Lightyear is doing in that movie. But it doesn't really hold up after that. And then I also had Death on the Nile on my list. Just a very pretty film, but that would be a little too much Agatha Christie on the list. The last one I had is kind of a weird one, and I didn't look it up, so I'm not even sure if it's 2022 or very early 2023. But it's a documentary film on Netflix about the life of Bill Russell, Boston Celtics legend, won 11 championships in 13 years. And I basically just wanted to pick that so I could talk about an anecdote in there where he became a high jumper on the track team at his college for something to do not during basketball season. And he realized that he could jump so high that he could pretty much block any shot on the basketball court. And so
awesome.
their first game of his sophomore year, he got out there, and the first 3 possessions, he was playing against this guy who was like rated All-American from this other school. He blocked him 3 times in a row, and his own coach called timeout and yelled at him for getting off of his feet because that's not how you play defense. And so he didn't jump the next possession, and the guy like very easily scored on him. And Russell said, "You know what? I'm just going to go back to doing what I was doing." And he averaged that season like 20 blocks a game. There's so many stories like that about him, and there's so little footage of that time period left over from when he played. But he is like the modern defense that we play in basketball is all because of how Bill Russell changed the game. And so it's just really cool. As a huge Celtics fan, it was neat to see that. So that's my honorable mentions. Preston, what else you got on your list?
I had Bullet Train, which shout out Holden. I know you were probably like screaming at us to pick it at some point, but it was.
Oh, I really could have locked in his vote if I took it.
I was kind of worried you were going to take it there at the end because that probably would have gotten it. Bullet Train was really good. So Holden, I'm giving it to you here if you want to give me your vote.
I gave it to you earlier, and I love you.
Oh, right.
I posted a GIF in the Discord.
Yeah. Holden posted his whole top 5 in the Discord for us. So.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, we can get to that. Keep going,
sorry.
Preston.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. We just watched this recently.
Nice.
Just dumb fun. Does not take itself seriously. Pedro Pascal is hilarious and cute and just super sweet. If you saw him if you've only ever seen him in what he's done on his main shows, you've only ever seen him be a serious sort of like guardian, right? And him on Saturday Night Live recently, and for Unbearable Weight, it's like a very different role for him it shows like he's a hilarious guy that really should get more silly roles like this. That was it.
Okay. Michael, what else do you have that you want to shout out?
Yeah. So after Yang, the early A24 film this year with Colin Farrell talking about tea, and it's an odd sci-fi quiet movie that I really enjoyed. 3,000 Years of Longing, the new George Miller that's
Was that
turns
good?
into this wild like fantasy flashback epic, but I loved it from the premise. It's Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton giving great performances. I think Idris Elba especially, but like the premise where this genie shows up in modern day and after 3,000 years, and the person he appears to is a professor of the art of storytelling and immediately recognizes that all genie stories are cautionary tales. So she's really hesitant to engage and doesn't want to make any wishes. And like that conversation happening in a hotel room is like already, I loved that. And then the other stuff that follows was spectacular for me too. I don't think that's a very popular one, but I just love telling people that premise and that conversation. Ambulance and Bullet Train, big action wins for me. Loved them both. And I guess I'd say Hustle too. Well, since we're in the basketball
Yeah.
conversation, that
Yeah.
was probably
Hustle was good.
yeah. I think that was a lot of fun and also got me emotionally.
What's the best After movie this year? Is it After Sun or After Yang?
I have After
It's
Sun,
After Sun.
but I think
Okay.
it was a good year for after movies overall,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and Whodunits, and Puss in Boots.
Yeah. So we did get Smithy shouting out After Sun, of course, on the server, as well as Holden throughout his top 5, which might give you an idea of where his vote's going. Well, might be split between Preston and Michael. He's got The Northman, Bullet Train, All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm kind of surprised that
Mhm.
wasn't taken. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Jujutsu Kaiseno.
No, it's
Um,
Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is the
Kaizen 0. Oh, okay,
the movie.
okay. Holden formatted this weirdly, so I'm gonna blame it on him. But thank you for that list, Holden. We appreciate you. Yeah, that's just about it. We're just about done here. Zach, one more time, can you let people know how they can find Stream It if they want to tune into that show after this?
Yeah, you should be able to search Stream It on any podcatcher, and if other weird things come up, you can search my handle, which is Zvazda, Zvazda. But I can also shoot Brian a link, and it can presumably go in the show notes.
Absolutely. Michael Moran, List Wars is coming back.
Yeah, theoretically.
Soon.
We have a
Theoretically.
podcast called List Wars that's very similar about ranking things and arguing about top 5 lists. And we haven't
Yeah.
posted in a long time, but we got a few in the pipe. And I think tomorrow or the next day, the one about movies will be coming out. So if you like this,
Yeah.
you might like that.
Okay. And Preston, you've been a very busy boy on the Twitch, on the YouTube. Do you want to tell people what's up with Draft Punks this week?
So we started YouTube. I mean, we're continuing focusing a little bit. It's just straight up gameplay stuff for the most part. We are doing gameplay impressions. We've done Hi-Fi Rush, Theater Rhythm. We're coming out with BeamNG and Like a Dragon soon. We're playing through Destiny. It's just sort of fun gameplay. You know what you're getting if you've ever gone to any gaming YouTube, but you should come watch ours as well.
Yeah. And you can find us on all socials, including YouTube, Twitch, Twitter at Real Draft Punks. You can also join our Discord from the Twitter. It's in our bio, and that's how you can vote for your favorite list. You can also take part in really fun competitions. We are just starting up our Draft Punks Survivor contest, which I'm very excited about. We have 16 survivors living on an island, not a real island, a virtual island, including our own Zach and Preston. And the winner at the end of next month will get a copy of Jedi Survivor. So I'm very excited to get that in the weeks to come.
Survivor.
There you go. There you go.
I get it now.
It's a driving game.
Let's go, Team Farts.
Yeah. The off the record, the discussion for team names has been so different in the two channels. One team is coming up with names that definitely sound like a Survivor tribe, And one team is deciding if they're team farts or team big farts.
I thought it was gonna be like poop or barf or something else, which is bigger farts.
Yeah, no, I
funny.
shouldn't have done it, but I jokingly said, "So y'all," because they weren't talking about it yet. So I was like, "Y'all are just gonna be team farts, huh?" And they just latched onto it, and I regret my decision.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's starting up soon, and I am very excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's it. That's the draft. This episode is over. Please come and find us. Come and vote. Come and listen. Come and hang out. We love to meet new folks and game with them. And post your favorites. Let us know what we got right or wrong tonight. And Zach, I know you've listened to enough episodes here that you know that we always ask the guests to read the outro. Sorry, Michael, but I feel like we got to give it to the new guy tonight.
Oh, that's fine.
Until next week, travelers, be happy, be healthy, and most importantly, be kind to each other.
Beautiful.
Amen.
Wonderful.
Wonderful drifter music in the background, fading us out. It's because of like we're all so excited about it,
Yeah.
and that like
I could talk about these for another 2 with you.
I know.
I'm looking at Zach's list and I'm like, oh man.